Okay, so I just rehomed a dog, and I wanted to make a video for anybody else who's going through a similar situation. You might be deciding whether or not you should or shouldn't. You might feel guilty about it. You might wonder if it's the right thing to do. And there was some realizations that I came to that really helped my decision. So essentially, when I had wanted a dog for years and years and years, and I finally got into a place in my life where I thought I was able to have one, and I could cross off my bucket list. And I imagined taking walks with it and growing up, helping the dog grow up, and playing with it and learning from the dog, and just doing all of the amazing things of having a great companion like a good dog. So I ended up getting this beautiful dog, like seriously beautiful black lab border collie mix, and she was just sweet as can be. She loved people. She loved other dogs. Really smart. I taught her to sit, stay, come, fetch, dance in like 5 days. Really good dog. But I noticed that after about 3 days, I started just freaking the fuck out about having a dog. And I looked it up, and I saw that it was puppy depression, and that it was really common. So I thought, okay, well, fair enough. A lot of people go through it. It's adopting a really big responsibility. Most people don't anticipate how big of a responsibility it is. It is an equivalent to taking care of a child, at least in terms of how much you worry about it and how much it becomes a foundational center point of your life. And I didn't. I knew those things in theory, but I had never really experienced them firsthand. So, anyways, what I decided to stick it out, and I kept getting more and more depressed. And eventually it got to a point where I was keeping the dog at home in a crate for about 6 hours a day, and then rushing back to let it go to the bathroom, and I started feeling guilty about how much it was in the crate. And all of the other things in my life that give me joy started to fall by the wayside too while this was happening. So I wasn't writing music, I wasn't working on getting better on YouTube, I wasn't going to the gym, I wasn't eating properly. Like, I became so stressed about this dog and how much my life was having to shift for it, that I was just becoming extremely depressed and ineffective. And I wasn't enjoying the time with the dog. That was the biggest thing. Like, I couldn't enjoy this animal because I was like so stressed from it. So I started thinking about whether or not I should rehome it. And so I looked up forums, and a lot of people were saying, it's just going to take a couple of months, and eventually that you'll adjust to the dog. And then other people were saying, well, we got the dog, but we kind of regret it, but we still love the dog, but we wouldn't get another one. Other people talking about how inhumane it is and traumatic it is to give away a dog. So everybody has an opinion on this, and basically the conclusion that I came to that made things clear for me is that the only real opinion that matters is your own opinion and what is true for you about this situation. So if the truth of the matter is that it would be better for the dog to be with another family because maybe the environment isn't correct, or you're noticing that you really weren't ready for this and you're in over your head, then that's the most loving thing you can do for the dog, is give him to a family that will love him, that is ready for it. There's a lot of considerations to make, so there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution to this, but what I would say is just listen to yourself and try and do what is the most difficult and most responsible and most truthful thing that you can think of. I guess it doesn't have to be the most difficult, but whatever is the most truthful and most responsible thing that you can think of, that's what you should do with the dog. I ended up giving the dog away to a family in Portland, and they had a 7 and a 10-year-old kid. They were lawyers. They had a big backyard. They could take their dog to work with them. So it was a wonderful situation. And they've been updating me on Luna's current situation, and she's loving the family. And so that's a great situation. But the real bottom line that I came to is I want to do what's best for the dog, and I want to do what's best for myself. But if I don't take care of myself first, then I'm probably not going to be giving the dog a great life. So try and make a dog something that you choose and not something that you're reacting to. When I got it, all I was doing was living my life as a reaction to this dog. And that's not how you should invest in deep commitments with people, with careers, with dogs, with anything. It should be something that you're choosing. Because when you choose something and you say, I want this is something I'm actively wanting, and I know what it is, and I'm going to bring it into my life responsibly, that's a whole different experience. So I don't know what your situation is. There's a lot of possibilities and a lot of different reasons, but just go inside yourself and do your best to find whatever answer is honest and truthful, which is kind of the same thing, but not that makes you feel good. That's what I had to do, is like, I didn't want to find the answer that would make me feel good, and I didn't want to go with the answer that I thought people would tell me or think about how people would perceive me. It's more like, if I go inside myself and I try and really listen to what my, for lack of a more new agey way of putting it, my inner voice is telling me, like the voice of calm, and I can make a decision and I'm not worried about all the emotional baggage or all of the future freakouts that I'm presenting or projecting onto it. I'm just going to sit down and work with this and see what my answer is. And my ultimate answer was, I love this dog. I was blessed with an amazing dog, and it's not the right time for it. And it's in my best interest now, and the dog's best interest, to get it to a different family. And dogs will adjust. I mean, the older the dog is, I assume the more difficult it will be, just because I know that puppies are like kind of blank slate, so they can adjust to new families. Older dogs, on the other hand, it's a little bit more difficult. But it still comes back to the bottom line, and that's just, there is a voice inside of you that is the most responsible and honest voice that you have. And it usually doesn't feel the best to do it. I cried when I gave the dog away. I had second thoughts about it the whole entire way there. And now I'm glad that I did it. So, truthfully, I assume that I probably could have adjusted to the dog, but I would have been giving up too much. There's too many things that I care about right now to be able to take the dog on as well. So that's my situation. Do what you think is the best thing. Listen to what is true for you. Make your own decisions and try and do it from a place of responsibility and honesty, and care for the dog and care for yourself. As long as you're working with those variables, you should be fine. Sorry you're going through this. It's really tough.